stop this injustice, this potential injustice, is Hope Taylor, Executive Director of Clean Water for North Carolina.
We need hope! Thank you all so much for being here. You are the symbol, the seed of a movement that is growing in North Carolina. When our organization first heard about fracking over 3 years ago, we were worried about well users. We worked on protecting rural drinking water. That's what we thought was the core of the issue. The more we talked to communities in other states, the more we realized it was about toxic air pollution. It was about monster truck traffic through communities on small roads. And we realized it was about communities having a say in what would happen in the communities, local control. So we knew it was a lot bigger than that. But I want to talk about a kind of pollution that is already happening in North Carolina as a result of the rush to frack. The legislators who have been pushing through this legislation at an ever-accelerating pace have not cared about the facts. They have not cared that there is such a small amount of gas and so many impacts on communities that we're not talking about any kind of sizable job creation or economic development here. The facts do speak for themselves, but they're not interested in those facts. Instead, what they've been interested in is bringing in the appearance of an oil and gas program in North Carolina, which is all about bringing in dirty, dirty, dirty oil and gas money.
We don't want it! We don't want it!
That money has an agenda, and that agenda is to make a few people wealthy, but mostly to make sure that North Carolina is safe for anti-regulatory legislation, pro-business and privatization legislation, taking control away from communities, and an anti-social justice agenda as well. That's part of what's happening already in North Carolina. And if we allow this industry into our state, I learned when I was in Texas a couple of weeks ago what it's like for states that are already colonies of the oil and gas industry.
We don't own them.
So thank you so much. One of the things that struck me about Senate Bill 76 is that I wonder if they're so worried that our movement is growing, resistance to fracking is growing, that they felt like they had to go ahead and make a done deal. We're here to say no. No to a done deal. No to injection wells. No to taking away consumer and landowner protections. We're here on behalf of all the people of North Carolina that could be affected by any aspect of oil and gas development. Thank you so much for being here today. Now I'd like to introduce William Barber, who is a senior in the Environmental Sciences program at North Carolina Central University, and who gave a very inspiring presentation on environmental justice and fracking at the HKLJ rally for any welcome him today. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As Hope said, my name is William Joseph Barber III, and I am glad to be standing with you all tonight in firm opposition to this new rush to frack. North Carolina has a legacy. During the early colonial era, early colonists and Sir Walter Raleigh, the namesake of the great city in which we are gathered tonight, described our state as the goodliest land under the cope of heaven. They looked from the crystal coast to the majestic mountains and took note of all the beauty in between. They realized they had arrived in a beautiful land full of bounty. This is our state's legacy. But this legacy is under attack today. There are those in office who would be willing to totally negate, to totally dismiss this legacy in the name of so-called economic necessity. Senate Bill 76 threatens to fast-track fracking by lifting the 2-year moratorium that would allow us to truly study the impacts of this practice. That is not economic necessity, nor is it economically prudent. Rushing to implement a dangerous practice such as fracking without first considering how it would impact our groundwater, our air quality, and our soil quality in a state in which agriculture is the leading industry is not only foolish, but it is economic suicide. But not only is our legacy as a state under attack, our fellow North Carolinians are under attack by this bill. We know that poor and minority communities consistently bear the brunt of our environmental problems. Hydraulic fracturing studies in the last legislative session failed to account for the potential negative and disparate impact of the process on communities of color and poor communities, including in Lee County, which has a population that is heavily dependent on groundwater. By the way, Lee County has a population which is 41.3% people of color compared to the 34.5% state average, and has over 16% of their population below the poverty line. But not only is our legacy under attack, and not only are our fellow North Carolinians under attack, but, and I'm going a little personal here, I come from a faith tradition. See, I was raised in the Christian church, and my Bible says that in Genesis, God told man to subdue and have dominion over the earth. But be careful, God did not mean do anything you think you're big and bad enough to do. He did not mean exploit and plunder the earth for temporary wealth. No, he meant serve as a steward. He said, watch over the earth and admire what the Lord has blessed us with. And it is because of this, it is for these reasons that we stand and we stand together. We have not forgotten the legacy of our great state of North Carolina. We have not forgotten our poor and minority brothers and sisters who cannot speak for themselves. And some of us have not forgotten the true meaning of Genesis chapter 1. And because we have not forgotten, we cry and we will forever cry, forward together, not one step back. Forward together, not one step back. Forward together, not one step back. In North Carolina, we will not frack.
Thank you for those inspirational speakers. Now, clearly, our senators who passed the Senate Bill 76, most of them don't live in the areas that would be most impacted by fracking.
First round in Rucho's yard.
If they did, we think they'd have to think twice about this bill. So to tell us more about what it's like to live in Lee County and the problems that fracking would bring to them and to their community, please help me welcome Cecilia Jimenez. She is a member of Workers for Clean Water and a Lee County resident.
Antes que nada, muchas gracias por darme la oportunidad de hablar y dejarme comunicar a toda mi comunidad. Hay que darle todos aquí gracias por darse la oportunidad. All right. Okay. Enseñar al público en general. Workers for Clean Water de Sanford surgió de la indignación y la necesidad de informar a la comunidad acerca de la fracturación hidráulica. No es fácil, no se nos hace fácil, no se nos facilita en pocas palabras. La fracturación hidráulica o fracking, como se diga, destruye estados, pueblos, comunidades, familias, ecosistemas. Simplemente la fracturación hidráulica es una amenaza mortal, porque en el proceso de la extracción de gas se ocupan millones de litros de agua. Eso a su vez consume y contamina ríos, lagos, arroyos, todo lo que nos rodea. Nada queda excepto de las consecuencias de la fracturación hidráulica. Yo no sé de ustedes, pero yo si no tomo agua me muero. Quiero hacer un llamado a toda la comunidad que habla español, a toda, que se involucre, que participe, que se defienda y luche contra la fracturación hidráulica. Que luchen, porque si no lo hacemos, estaremos expuestos a los peligros constantes de dicho proceso. Y eso no es todo, estaremos destruyendo el futuro de nuestros hijos. La fracturación hidráulica nos afecta directamente. porque nosotros somos parte de la minoría y de la clase trabajadora que depende de los agricultores para recoger sus cosechas, fábricas y pequeños negocios. Hay que entender que el beneficio de la salud cada vez se hace inalcanzable para la clase obrera, para los trabajadores del campo o simplemente para todas las personas que ganan el salario mínimo. Quiero que defiendan el futuro de sus hijos, porque esto es su tierra, porque la tierra es quien la trabaja. Lo siguiente va para todos aquellos que todavía se sienten intocables a la fracturación hidráulica. En México se ha perforado Hidalgo, Coahuila y se piensa extender hasta Veracruz y otros estados de México. Argentina es uno de los países más perforados de América del Sur. No quiero asustarlos, solo quiero que tengan presente que la fracturación hidráulica es mortal y no es amiga de nadie. Las compañías de gas están educando y llenando de mentiras a nuestros hijos. En Plaza Sésamo se están usando la igualdad de sexos y a las mujeres se nos dice que en las empresas de fracturación hidráulica vamos a ser tratadas como reinas. Únanse a la lucha, únanse a las marchas, únanse a la causa en contra de la fracturación hidráulica. ¡No fracking!
Thank you, Cecilia. In addition to lifting the fracking moratorium, Senate Bill 76 would allow groundwater well injection. Now we know this is a bad idea. You know how we know it's a bad idea? Because they tried it 40 years ago and it failed. And now they want to bring it back again. I guess some bad ideas just die hard. So to talk to us more about it is Elaine Chioso she's a Haw River keeper from the Haw River Assembly, member of the Carolina Water Keepers.
Hello. So yes, I am speaking for all the river keepers in North Carolina. We are all against fracking. We are very concerned about, yes, no fracking, and especially concerned about water, because without water, no life, right? So yes, as we just heard from Renee, they did try this idea of deep underground injection in North Carolina 40 years ago. Down in Wilmington, a chemical factory got permission to drill these deep wells and just dump a bunch of chemicals down there with some acidic waste they had from their factory. And they did this for many years, and when they finished, it was discovered that this pollution was rising up into the groundwater aquifer that people depend on to drink. It didn't work. It was a failure, and it will be a failure again. So that's where they want to do this deep underground injection. They're going to dump these millions and millions of gallons of frack wastewater into deep wells in the coastal plain where they think it would be safe. We already know it's not safe. Is it safe? No! Why are we doing it? Money, right? Somebody's gonna make a lot of money drilling those wells. It'll be a new source of revenue for a very few people, and a lot of people would be hurt badly. And there's another bad part to this. If they get this bill through and they allow underground injection of poisons in our waters, looks like federal commerce law would say we can't stop other states from sending their frack water here. How about the whole Marcellus Shale frack water? Pennsylvania doesn't want to put it in their ground. They could send it here. And that's even worse wastewater. It's got radiation in it as well. Do we want deep underground injection wells in North Carolina? No! Do we want fracking in North Carolina? No! I don't think so. So I'm going to just end with a little song here, and I want you guys to sing the chorus with me. And the chorus goes, what do we want? And you're going to sing, we want clean water. What do we want? We want clean water. Then you can say, we want clean air. What do we want? We want clean air. Okay. Clean coal. Oh, I want you to clap too. Here we go. Clean coal is a dirty lie, and fracking's a bridge fuel to nowhere. You're poisoning our water and destroying our land, but you're making lots of money, so you don't care. What do we want? We want clean water. What do we want?
We want clean air.
What do we want? We want clean water. What do we want? We want clean air. Corporations aren't people. They don't need to breathe and drink. They don't care if our rivers run dirty or the air around us stinks. But what do we want? We want clean water. What do we want? We want clean air. What do we want? We want clean water. What do we want?
We want clean air.
Drill, baby, drill, and blow up mountains of coal, and frack the earth till it shakes. But we're not gonna just stand by and let them know together we got what it takes. What do we want?
We want clean water.
What do we want?
We want clean air.
What do we want?
We want clean water.
What do we want?
We want clean air.
Yeah!
Thank you, Elaine. So we've had Representative Mike Woodard stop by who represents Durham. And, excuse me, sorry. He's one of the only senators. Of all 50, there are only 7 that oppose Senate Bill 76.
Yeah.
3 of them were excused, but only 7. So Senator Woodard, would you mind coming up here and saying a couple words? And this is just on the spot, so.
You can do it.
Hey, oh my gosh. Wow, it's great to see so many friends here. I didn't realize who was going to be here today. My good friend Jim Center. By the way, I also represent Person County, yay Jim, and Caswell County. And as I came up here, I got to see so many good friends who are out there doing great work. Thank you all for coming and for bringing your message here. I'm really sorry I'm the only elected person I see here from the legislature, but that's okay. I see some other local elected officials. You know, at least in my chamber, we worked very hard to try to fight it. We were clearly outnumbered. But, you know, I don't think we're outnumbered in spirit in any way, and it's really going to take all of us to keep this fight going, because people are starting to wake up within just a few days after the Senate passed the bill. You know, I argued that these heavy trucks that are coming through our communities, and what are they going to do with this, with the fracking waste? You know, 30% of it can be stored right there where it's put in the ground. Well, where's the other 70% going? It's bad enough you leave 30%. Where's the other 70% going? And all of a sudden, we heard they were going to take it to the coast, where the aquifer is closer, and they were going to put it there. Well, that woke up the coast, because suddenly it wasn't just an issue for Lee, Moore, Chatham, Durham, Wake County. It became an issue for the eastern part of the state.
Take it to Rucho's yard.
And we've got to make it a statewide issue. And we've got to tell our friends in other communities, this is bad for your environment too.
Right.
And we've got to spread that message. So I really didn't come prepared to say anything today, so forgive me for rambling a little bit. But you know, when I see you all here and I hear the great spirit and just all your great faces, and I know that you care so much, it just wants me to redouble my efforts, and I hope you all will redouble your efforts. Thank you. Keep up the fight.
Thank you.
We're gonna beat back the frack attack. Beat back the frack attack. We're gonna beat back the frack attack.
Beat back the frack attack.
Beat
Back the frack attack.
beat back the frack attack. We're gonna beat back the frack attack.
All right, so just when you thought fracking and underground injection wells were bad enough, There's another piece to Senate Bill 76, and that's promoting offshore drilling off our beautiful coast. Now, people around the world, around our country, know that North Carolina has some of the best beaches in all the country, and these guys want to threaten that. So talk to us more about that is Dave Rogers, organizer with Environment North Carolina.
Thanks. So yeah, as Renee just mentioned, obviously if you didn't think dumping a bunch of fracking wastewater and injection wells would waken up the coast, you can imagine what drilling off of our coast would do. I was actually just talking to my mom earlier today, who lives out in Brunswick County, and she brought this up to me right away. She knows what I do for work, but she's not necessarily a radical environmentalist, and first thing she asked me was, what are you guys doing about Senate Bill 76? Isn't that the thing where they want to inject wastewater and drill right off our coasts? So I told her about this today, and she wasn't able to make it, but she's here in spirit. And I think the big things to note are the Outer Banks and the rest of our beaches are just incredible places for us to be able to swim, fish, surf, and get a chance to see hatchings from sea turtles. And drilling off the coast in the places that are actually economically viable include some of the most critical places, like right off the coast of Cape Hatteras. And these areas are home to marine life like sea turtles, dolphins, whales, and some of the most diverse areas of marine life anywhere in the world. In addition to that, these areas are also just really economically important for tourism and fishing, and actually 67,000 North Carolinians work in coastal tourism or fishing and generate about $3 billion in economic revenue every single year. And about $4 of revenue is generated through these industries compared to $1 that would be generated if we were to drill off our coasts. So the reality is that North Carolina's coast is just too precious to frack, and that we should just focus our energy on clean sources like solar and offshore wind. You know, the reality is, if North Carolina really wants to get into the energy game and we want to become a leader in energy, things like offshore wind and solar are places that give us an opportunity to lead. We actually have more offshore wind potential than any East Coast state. So if the legislature is truly serious about creating jobs and getting into the energy economy, the place to do it is solar and wind, not drilling and fracking. So I encourage them to both, oppose Senate Bill 76, but also to pass some meaningful legislation that's going to make us a true leader in clean energy. Thank you very much.
Wrap up, I just wanted to mention, speaking of solar, the sound equipment today was brought to us by Southern Energy Management. They let us borrow this. This is a solar charged battery in the box down below, and then you can plug in anything into it. So check them out. I'd like to thank them for letting us use that. Also like to thank everyone who came today, all the reporters, everyone who helped speak and bring all these beautiful signs, the Paper Hand Puppet Collective for bringing these wonderful puppets. And we have some petitions over here on these tables. If you haven't signed up, please sign up so we can keep you informed about what's going on. And just like to let's kind of end in a cheer here. So how about hey hey ho ho, hydro-fracking's got to go. 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 Thank you everyone for coming. And folks, like to have one more announcement. And I will one thing I just thought of right now. I know a lot. How many people here have called their legislator? How many people have called their legislator? Okay, pretty good. Now, just in addition to signing petitions, coming out to rallies, make sure you call your legislator. Most of the time, they're not even in there anyway. All you gotta do is just leave them a message, tell them to vote no on Senate Bill 76. Phone calls are really important. Okay, Hope, thank you all for coming.
Thank you all so much. I wanted to let you know that there are over 20 organizations working together as the North Carolina Frack Free NC Alliance. If your organization is not yet listed, you can go to frackfreenc.org to look. Please contact us. We would love to have you as part of our strategy team. We are having strategy calls several times a month. We have face-to-face strategy meetings at least quarterly. This is a serious group of people, and as Senator Woodard said, it is so important that you reach out to all of your friends and relatives across the state, no matter whether they're in a known shale area or not, because there are so many indirect impacts of fracking on communities everywhere, and so many impacts on our democracy in North Carolina by allowing this industry in. So thank you all so much for coming. Please stop by the table. If you're signed up, we'll put you on the frack updates list and we'll get you involved in the strategy. Thank you.
Who's this be volunteering?
You all did such a good job of singing that we've got one song we're going to ask you to finish with. We were asked to end the rally with a song that you all could sing together. And your part is to shout, "No way!" Okay, you'll know it when it comes around.
This is great.
The Raging Dragon.
Oh, give us a beach where oil spills can't reach, and there's no sticky goo on the sand, where children can play and the birds and fish stay free from harm. That's our simple demand. No fracking, no way, no way. We say keep those frackers away. We say no to those rigs and those companies so big. Mother Earth still comes first in our land. There are so many ways to make power these days, from the wind and the sand, don't you see? Let's stop hydro-fracking and mountain-top hacking. Let's treat the earth as it should be. No fracking, no way, no way. We say keep those frackers away. We say no to those rigs and those companies so big. Mother Earth still comes first in our land. No way! No way!
All right. Yeah, you're welcome.
Where it's so well. Dave. We're here with
Yes, we met. We met the Ron Prairie.
Yeah. And I'm here with my mom. So I like that you would hug your mom.
Right, okay,
Go over there, honey. I'll get you.